Alright, good morning ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another simple day, right? Today is only three people. Huh. I think it's because yesterday was like a holiday. So yeah, today's there's only three people here, but since it is Saturday, we have no iron body to do, so we ain't gonna be here for long either. So unfortunately yesterday I didn't do a story video, so today I definitely owe you guys today I owe you guys that story I left on a cliffhanger. So we're gonna re-listen to the whole thing from the beginning today. So yep, and also gonna do a lot of No Man's Sky as well today as well. I think. Well, I'll try. At least yesterday we did a hunting and fishing video, so that's still in the process of being made. The No Man's Sky videos are delayed again because I'm trying to use Final Cut Pro, but it's just, I mean, it's been alright, but for some reason there's like on my Mac Mini, it's kind of failed to do one of the episodes. It takes a sweet time, so I'm gonna have to fix that. Oh well. People like the live streams. People don't really watch the VODs, but it's fine. The VODs are there for the metadata anyways. So yeah, yesterday hunting and fishing was interesting. I hooked on to like two fish. They both got away. One of them wasn't hooked on properly. The second one was kind of hooked, but then somehow when it got to the surface of the water, it jumped a bit and the hook came off. So wasn't hooked deeper. Probably was hooked on like the lip, and when it jumped, since the hook's so small, he must have got it out. But then I guess the other person got the trout on video, so it's fine. Apparently we might go again today, but that's fine, I guess. I need to double check my Mac Mini though. I think maybe that file was not transcoded properly because it failed or something. When I opened it this morning, it was 76% complete. So if I come back after here and it's still not done, then I'll have to figure something out. Probably have to retranscode it and stuff. The Mac Airbook did it perfectly fine, but the Mac Mini failed somehow. However, the Mac Mini was doing other things as well, I guess. Still no excuse though, so I'll have to figure out the problem. Either the SSD is too full or something like that. Again, I have to check. It was 76% done, but I'll see. If it doesn't move from 76 when I come back, then it must have been bugged. Stomach's big. Drank lots of soup last night. Damn. On TV there's canoeing, and they're doing like races. The Australians actually crazy fast though. No, the Asians lost. China and Korea lost. Why their back muscles are insane. Oh, it's another race. It's the woman 2026 canoe sprint World Cup. Alright, how much are you gonna bet who's gonna win? I guess I just bet USA because like white people are strong as fuck. I actually didn't see the countries. I saw the USA flag. Who's gonna win though, for real? I kind of just randomly bet on America because American women are bigger. Unless it's like an African, but I don't think they touch water. I can't tell who's who, but yeah, we'll see. Oh, New Zealand. New Zealand's there as well. They probably cracked. Didn't see the New Zealand flag before. No, New Zealand probably won then. Is it too late to swap? I'm gonna swap. I'm swapping my bet, New Zealand. Actually, that's kind of cheating though, because they were like second when I said I swapped. Yo, what? USA's like no idea. Oh, New Zealand like came second. The USA came seventh. My predictions are wrong, I guess. China's got like the best acceleration, but has very low max speed. You guys can't even see the TV, so I'm just commentating on nothing. When I commentate on games, actually, I don't know what I'm saying. All I know is that for today in No Man's Sky, we're going to be sentinel hunting ships and possibly working on getting a Corvette. I'll see. Ooh, the next race. I'm going to bet Australia, obviously. Yeah, Australia. And yeah, Australia's not going to win that race. I actually don't do the other countries. Today's state station feels a lot longer than usual. Maybe it's because I'm talking for once, or I'm awake. We did sleep like 30 minutes early last night, so maybe that adds up to it. Again, still need to make money when I get home. And do, oh, I literally have to edit the DJI data, which is going to take long. Those take like the longest. Those require my full attention. Because I can't actually transcode a DJI footage that good. Because it's so heavy, so big. When it comes to DJI footage, I have to like edit the YouTube version first. Once that's done, then I can separate the two POVs for archives, which require transcoding. So yeah, it's gonna be rough. Semi-final number 3. I'm pretty sure I put my bets on Australia, but I'll see. Oh yeah, fun fact. This morning, the same street as usual, speed camera there. However, on one of the vehicles I have, it's got like a pit speed limiter. So every time I cross that street now, I just automatically flip it to uh, pit speed limiter, right? So like 55 kilometers above the speed limit, but under the fine, so in between. So speed limit's 50, right? But you only get fined above 60, so you can sit at 55 without punishment. I think. I'm pretty sure they give you, yeah, going 55 past the speed camera, you'll be fine. I think. I might bite my words later. I'll see. But yeah, so 55 went past the thing. I didn't even notice it. Oh, no, I did. I did see it, but it was too late. But since they had the speed limiter, they couldn't get me. I think. I'll see. But yeah, it's in the same spot. No, same street. No headlights. No, it had headlights, but there's no parking lights. So yeah, that would catch you. What? Australia came ninth? How did you, what? Yeah, well, it is a different Australia girl, I guess. Damn, they lost. Huh. Luckily, I didn't beat anything real on it. It was a different Australian. It was like a different person. But anyways, back to that speeding ticket car. Yeah, we just hit it. No parking lights. Just headlights. I didn't even see it. By the time you see it in person, it's too late if you're speeding. Again, since they had the speed bit limiter, I was just being carefree and just, matter of fact, I was just playing up the Forza Horizon music while going past it. It seems like they use the excuse of a lamppost to so they didn't have to turn on the parking rear lights, which is actually kind of whatever. I just learned from pattern recognition that there's always going to be a speeding camera in the street, so no matter what, I'm just going to have to turn on the speed limiter. I've been doing it for like weeks now. If I don't have the speed limiting car, I have a different vehicle, I still go slow on that street because they always use that street, which kind of sucks, but I just treat it like a speed pit limit, a pit lane. Yeah. So every time when I go to the gym, I treat that street as like a pit lane, is what it is. Is there anything else to talk about besides that? There's nothing else to say. I just wanted to say that the speed camera is there, as always. So I just adapted with the speed pit limiter setting. Nah, but yeah. Again, going past speeding cameras back in the old day was easier because they had their lights on and they were run by police, and also because they used to use Volkswagen vans only. So it was pretty obvious because no one owned a Volkswagen van besides the police. So whenever you saw one, you just knew there was a speeding camera, so you stopped. But now the new government thing uses a civilian car, which many people use. So yeah, smart by them though. Is what it is. There's no light without dark, right? But in the canoeing thing, there's still is now. South Korea is the only team with a 15-year-old and a 21-year-old team. The rest of the other competitors are all 20 plus. They should have got a 15-year-old in the team. They must be good. What am I going to bet? Let me see. I'm probably going to bet that the white ones win. Probably. Also, it depends because we're running out of time on our Stairmaster, so we might not be able to see the race. Oh well. I think I talked the entire steer thing, so there might be no story video today. Actually, no, I don't think I will give you guys a story video. I said I was going to give you guys one, but then we talked so much gobbledygoosh today. Nah, I'll give you guys a story video. Don't worry about it. I will. It's going to be like 40 minutes long, but it'll make up for yesterday's short one and the previous day's short one as well. Arm Day was short, no story video. Friday was short and no story video. So today, yes, we talked a lot, but I still have to give you the story video today. So, yeah. Yeah, Poland's going to win. Those girls are huge. There you go. Simple as that. Oh, I think the Poland won. Yeah, the white one's won, I told you. They're huge. Alright. Oh. Yeah, like I said, story video, right? So, I guess I give you guys a story video today. It's going to be a long episode, but yeah, I like those, I think. Alright, appreciate it. Wait, look. Speed limiter. Boom. 50 kilometers. We'll put a speed limit on this thing. See, look. So, speed limiter 50, right? And look at that up ahead. You see that? That's the speeding camera right there. You can see it. Look. I'm going 50 though. There he is. Look at him. Look at him. Bruh. Like I said, guys. Oh, sorry. I think I spoke too fast before I even pressed the record button. Yeah, we're gonna be doing a story video, right? So, do you want me to recap the entire story, or do we want to just listen from the beginning? We're gonna be here for like 20 minutes plus. Lock in.
1994, and my whole life had basically fallen apart. To escape a...
Do I just listen to the whole thing again? Or do you guys know the context already?
Nah, it's too many Earthlogs split apart. You guys wouldn't know.
Relationship that turned physically abusive, I had to leave Seattle, and that meant abandoning my waitressing job in the community college that I was attending. I've been living in Seattle for 6 years at that point, and I loved it there.
Okay, well, maybe to skip some context, pretty much what happened is she's living in a lookout as a job really far away. It requires a helicopter to even pick her up. And all of a sudden, she's beginning these like dead animals at her front step somehow. And then turns out it could be a human. So one of the other employees called Hank gave her a gun. Here we go.
Don't start turning really aggressive until fall or very late in the summer at the earliest, at which point I'd be gone. And while bear mace would sure work fine if I hit a person with it, I knew that wasn't enough, and so did Hank. Especially not when it came to someone who walked barefoot in the woods and left dead rabbits outside the cabins of lone women. And this is where I tell you why Hank is called Hank here and not his real name, because what he did next was a massive breach of protocol and could have quite easily got him severely reprimanded or even fired. But after asking if I knew how to use one, and quite possibly against his better judgment, he gave me his firearm.
Yeah, W. Hank though, for real.
Now, I hadn't fired one in about 14 years, but I knew the basics of how to load and fire one. Taking a breath, squeezing the trigger, all that stuff. But as he held it out in front of me, I didn't want to take it. Taking it meant accepting that I hadn't been living the life of some Disney princess, being accepted and fed by the local wildlife. It meant a strange man had been walking around the lookout while I slept, probably after spotting and then watching me during daylight hours. Now, it had all these questions whirling around my head like a tornado of panic, asking, how often did he stalk me? Was he close? Was he watching right then? Hank had to bring me back to reality and asked if I was good to go on. Now, he'd happily cover me until they found a replacement, and while it was undeniably an inconvenience, it was considerably preferable to me coming to any harm, but I wouldn't hear of it. I guess I was still sort of in denial or something, because I basically told myself that correlation didn't necessarily equal causation, and just because there was a bare footprint out there didn't mean that it was a person leaving those rabbits. And besides, I figured that they wanted to hurt me, they'd have probably tried already. On one of potentially 4 separate visits to that lookout, too. And that's assuming it really was a guy leaving the rabbits and not some animal who thought the lookout was a good spot to stash some food. I still took the gun. I'm not completely stupid. I guess I just didn't want to accept the nauseating irony that I'd disappeared into the ass end of nowhere to escape one weird psycho, only to walk right into the hands of another.
Yeah, GG.
I mean, it made total sense to me. It was the edge of the Pacific North in the 90s, and of course there was a weird dude stalking lone women and girls in the woods. But at the same time, it seemed so unlikely as to be almost impossible. Now, I didn't fully accept the danger I was in until my gentleman caller made it blindingly and horrifically obvious what his intentions truly were. So, I opened the door of my cabin one morning, and since I'd taken to carrying it everywhere with me, Hank's gun was tucked into my belt. And then the second I opened it, I saw that there wasn't a dead rabbit sitting in the usual spot. It was something else. Something wet and fresh looking. I took a closer look on my way to the tower to call it in, and it was clear the pile was made of organ meat.
What?
But since I had no idea if it came from an animal or a person, calling it in triggered an immediate and very serious investigation. Hank returned around noon to help, accompanied by another forest ranger who once studied veterinarian medicine before changing career paths and enlisting in the service. And it was her who determined that it was a pile of organs someone had dumped outside my cabin, and that in all likelihood they belonged to either a deer or a moose calf. But that's not what I found so sickening or scary about all of this. It was the fact that the organs, which looked like they'd been torn out of the animal's body cavity, not just cut, consisted of a womb and 2 ovaries, along with various pieces of bloody connective tissues. Now, the lady was completely white in the face as she realized this, not so much what they were, but why they'd been put there. Now, we could safely rule out the possibility of an animal being to blame. I mean, aside from the human footprint, The kind of deliberateness of leaving a womb and ovaries suggested an intelligence way beyond
Yo, you gotta get out of there.
that of anything that moved on four legs. But it's what it said, what it suggested, that had the three of us turning pale as the lady turned over the pieces of wet flesh, examined them, and then identified them. Hank once again asked if I wanted to throw in the towel, and while these days I'm quite certain that I'd hop on that helicopter without a second thought, back then, things were different. You can call me all kinds of stupid in the comments or whatever, I don't mind. Lord knows that I've said it to myself what must be hundreds of times already. But in the moment, what I felt way more than any fear, which was already a lot, was anger. Like, how freaking far did I have to go to get away from psycho men? The Amazon? The Arctic? The mother effing moon? Like, all necessary caveats aside, not all men and all that positive stuff, but back then, I stood outside the cabin with the smell of those organs in my nose. I remember shaking more out of anger than fright. I spent the last 6 or 7 years letting some a-hole run me into the ground. From my old bosses to my ex-boyfriend, they made my life hell. One of the promises I made myself after moving back to Montana was that I was never going to let anything like that ever happen again. So if I wasn't going to draw a line in the sand right there, then where the F was I going to draw it? I guess that might sound kinda bat crap crazy, as they say to some people. I sure as heck sounded crazy to me, having just typed it out and revisited that part of myself in my mind, but at the time, that's just how I felt, especially after the little game of swapsies me and Hank played before he and the would-be vet departed. Hank said that he figured I might refuse to leave. I'd been so steadfast in the face of that footprint, so he had no reason to believe that that deer entrails was going to do any different. But since he very much needed to retrieve his service pistol, he brought me a little gift with which to defend myself, and when I saw it, my eyes lit up. Being a country girl, I'd grown up around guns, but I didn't have a lot of experience with things like shotguns or pistols. But what I had done a lot of with my big brother when we were kids was shoot my dad's old .22 out in the woods. Now, he took us out around July 4th every year for about 4 or 5 years. So while I was only mildly comfortable preparing Hank's pistol to fire, I was very comfortable with that .22 in my grip.
Yo, Hank is the man. What, did you just give her a shotgun? Ain't no way. Yo, Hank actual W-mans. What the hell? Wait, so he took the pistol back and gave her a shotgun. That's a good trade. No? That's a good trade. Carry the shotgun around. GG, you know?
He said that he'd check it out of the armory on the pretense of some bear sightings, citing the rabbits and the entrails that had been found near my cabin. And there was no way that he couldn't have written anything about a person, not without getting the attention of some higher-ups and potentially slowing the process of getting me what I needed. Now, I was grateful beyond belief, and I'm still grateful for everything Hank did for me, but as you can imagine, despite all my bravado, it still wasn't enough to keep me sleeping easy. Cue all the horror movie cliches here about every gust of wind and twig snap waking me up, but it's true, and I'm not ashamed to say that, .22 or not, I was terrified, and I stopped feeling safe in the cabin altogether, knowing that if someone broke inside while I was asleep, I'd have to try and operate that gun while half asleep and in pitch darkness with my heart pounding. And then if they chose to break through the window of my cabin, it could be right there in front of me before I even knew what was happening. Which, as all the gun freaks in the comments will agree with me, it is not ideal in a long gun situation. And that, boys and girls, is how I decided to start sleeping in the watchtower. I dragged the cabin's old mattress all the way up there one afternoon before—
Wait, she wasn't sleeping in the watchtower the whole time? Oh. I was assuming she was sleeping in the watchtower the whole time. Well, she's sleeping in the cabin. Is there a cabin and a watchtower?
laying it down on the wooden floor. The interior of the tower was so small the mattress barely fit, and it was also way more exposed to bugs thanks to the little ventilation gaps in what was otherwise a watertight roof. But I could lock the gate on the fence around the bottom, and I'd hear loud and clear if anyone came up the stairs at night, and in the event that happened, I had the radio right there in front of me if it did.
Yeah, that's a very smart idea. I thought you were sleeping in the watchtower the whole time already. Because in the previous story, the person was asleep, the bed was already in the watchtower. So the whole time she was in the cabin.
And so all in all, it felt a heck of a lot safer than
Yeah.
the freaking cabin.
You got a shotgun, you got a fence. Wait a minute.
Or even if you did lock the front door, it felt like it'd break open if you leaned on the damn thing too hard. It was the right move too, but I knew it was, and I just didn't think that it'd fail to fully protect me in the way that it did. One night, I'm asleep in the tower sharing a mattress with the gun when I wake up to this strange sort of squealing sound. Like most sounds I heard during the night, this one had me awake and reaching for the rifle. But usually speaking, there'd be this moment of it was just the wind, or it was probably just some animal, because then 5 to 10 minutes would pass without a vent and I'd just end up drifting off to sleep again. But on this occasion, I could tell right away that something was wrong, because this wasn't some natural sound that I was hearing. It was metallic. I could hear my own heart pounding in my chest, that sort of da-dum, 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 all while I could hear this sort of keening, stretching sound, followed by a sudden snap, and then I suddenly realized what I was listening to. Someone, or something, had just ripped open the chain link fence at the bottom of the tower.
Yo, camp the door.
And what followed was one of the strangest and most frightening experiences of my entire life. Because while every fiber of my being was screaming at me to get up and get ready to fight, I couldn't bring myself to move a single muscle.
What do you mean?
I could barely even bring myself to breathe, and I realized my breathing in general is so shallow that I was in danger of hyperventilating and shutting down completely.
What?
But still, all I could do was lay there on the mattress, trembling and every muscle tensed up as I heard these faint, slow but heavy footsteps before they suddenly...
What are you doing? What are you still laying on the bed for? Woman, right? Yeah, it must be woman. Must be like a woman problem. Too much stress overload, woman just stop moving. Or stop doing it. They just stop thinking. They're just like goldfish, you know? Just a goldfish mentality. That's it. It's done. She got a gun, she got a gate. The gate broke.
got loud as a foot hit the metal stairs. The first one hit like a dun, and it was so heavy that I swear that I could feel the vibration of it coming right up the tower, but still I couldn't bring myself to do a single thing other than lay there, gripping the rifle and just sort of hoping it'd stop on its own. And then a thought hit me, and it hit hard. If I wanted to stop, if I wanted to save myself, then I was going to have to do something about it personally. I thought about my ex and about the dead rabbits and then the ovaries, and suddenly, finding my feet wasn't so hard anymore. The footsteps on the stairs stopped once my own started echoing around the tower. I've been scared that they might speed up as whoever it was rushed to confront me, but thankfully they didn't. I stepped out onto the catwalk, loudly charging the rifle before I stepped toward the stairs and aimed it towards their top. Then, in a loud voice, I told whoever was climbing them that while I didn't know who they were or what they wanted, I could guarantee that anyone who climbed to the top of my tower was going to get shot. Silence followed. No footsteps, no talking, no nothing. I don't know how long I lasted in that silence, but in the end, I broke by asking if whoever was there had heard me. I don't know what the hell I was expecting. It wasn't like whoever was there was ever going to be like, "Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am." But when that silence held, when I didn't get so much as a grunt in response, somehow the fear that I felt got 10 times worse. It occurred to me that I might not be dealing with someone who wouldn't talk, but rather someone who couldn't, and that had me way more frightened than I had been before. I remember the exact moment I thought to myself, if he won't talk to me, I'll let the rifle do the talking, because nothing gets the point across like a warning shot, right? And so that's what I did. I quickly pointed the rifle toward the sky and pulled the trigger. The flash and the shot were so much brighter and louder at night and under that woodwork, and I guess that worked for my advantage too, because after yelling, no, screaming out the question of, "Do you understand me?" while my ears were ringing, I eventually started to hear feet on the stairs again. Only this time, instead of going upward and further towards me, they went down and away from me. Now, I was shaking so hard that by the time...
Why would you let them go? No, what? I would just shot at them, no? I don't know, man. Because if you let them go with a warning shot, you're still alone in the woods. They're gonna come back.
the person touched the ground again, I'm surprised that the whole watchtower wasn't vibrating. Part of me wanted to look down so I could maybe catch a glimpse at whatever had been stalking me, but once again my body froze up. I could already hear whoever it was moving away from the tower.
Like, wouldn't you, like, put them under arrest? You know? Hands behind your back. Do it now. And you, like, tie their hands up. If you move an inch, I'll blow your head off. I probably would just kill him anyways. Like, I'd be like, oh, yep, prisoner, yeah, yeah, even if I put you on, like, ropes and stuff, you're probably gonna move and stuff. Just, boom, dead. Self-defense. Done. Just like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah.
And it was so quiet that I couldn't hear those bare footsteps against the dirt, and it seemed like the encounter was...
Because he already broke the gate, so therefore you have the right to kill him. So, you know, he already broke the gate down, so... It's like, yeah, it's free pickings now, you could just execute him now. He broke the gate. He broke the gate. So, yeah, done. Shoot him, dead. Easy. You know?
close to being over that the last thing I wanted to do was do anything that might prolong it. I didn't sleep at all that night, and I barely slept for the next 2 weeks, actually. Hank and another ranger came up to take a look around, as well as take an official statement from me regarding what happened that night. Our visitor never showed his face again, and thankfully, that halfway walk up the stairs was the last interaction we ever had. But like I said, it still took me weeks before I was able to sleep properly again, and even longer before I was able to move back into the cabin and enjoy all that additional comfort.
Also, how did I break the chain gate, right? You know what I mean? They must have, like, fully teared it off. So yeah, you had every right to shoot him. Should have just killed him.
Coolness. The glass box of that tower was like a freaking greenhouse sometimes. Now, I've forgotten a lot of things over the years, and even things that were once precious to me have faded into the background, but I've never forgotten how scared I was, and more importantly, how stupid I was in putting my own life in danger just to prove a point. The world's a cruel place, ladies, and it's full of cruel people too, but not a single one of them is worth risking your health for. The only people worth dying for are the ones we love, and it's our job to make it home in one piece, so we can spend as much time with them as possible.
That, you know what? Hank's definitely the carrier of that. The story. Hank gave her a gun. I mean, yeah, she used it, like, decently. Warning shot and stuff, but I would have just killed him. Well, like, yeah, like, at least shoot him, right? Because they already broke the gate, so their intentions are to get you, right? You know what I mean? It's like when someone breaks down your door. Oh, you broke down my door. Yeah, get in my house, bro. Come on now. Warning shot, bro. Nah, he's in the house already. Get him. He's, you know? Yeah. Probably human, probably not. You don't know. But GG for the next lookout person that takes that job. They're cooked. Yeah, they're cooked. Yeah. Okay, well, that story was pretty interesting. Do we want to listen to another one? Not really. I kind of want to just like go straight to No Man's Sky. But the next story is... The next story is like another 10 minutes long. So we're going to have to save it to next time, guys. Yeah, that was pretty interesting. Wasn't really the best of stories. I think Mr. Nightmare has a lot better stories, but this one was... It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. All right. Appreciate it again, ladies and gentlemen. All right. I already talked quite a lot today in the stairs anyway, so it's not going to be as long as I expected. Is there anything else to do today besides the No Man's Sky? I think that's about it. All right. Till next time. Bye-bye.